are going to be running the Fly Clinks pause 1, so you expect a bit faster pace from this kind of pause 1. You want to melt the towers fast, utilize that early death pack damage you get, and really snowball fast. VG, it's not too far from what they do. They've got this big armor core for Eurus. They want to slow the pace down. They've got faster cores for Yang and Ori. They're going to try to force IG to a slower game to get that advantage.
I really like this drop IG gaming. Like, they've got the two spirits there. Like, PYW is just going to be able to close the gap on any target he finds, or he's going to be able to follow up every single time with the Void Spirit. Like, you've got these two amazing gap closers right now on VG Gaming that can literally just rotate anytime they want after level 6 and just start making plays. Like, Ori, he's just going to need someone to secure power runes for him, and that's going to be PYW. And if you're going to try and contest power runes up against PYW and Ori, chances are you're probably going to die because it's a Spirit and Void Spirit. It's going to be a very interesting game to start us off for our playoff week. And of course, the winner of this series will make it directly through to the semi-finals. We'll have to play tonight in our third series for the night, up against the other loser of today. But for now, we'll concentrate on the positives. Winner will make it to the semi-finals. So a lot on the line here for these two teams. You can essentially get yourself an express ticket to the semi-finals, to the upper bracket finals, and then to the grand finals if you can win every series. Yeah, it's going to be really important for both sides. And one of the things that really intrigued me with 727B, Mike, I tagged you, but the hurts for a change with tags. Oh, amazing. I couldn't hold my excitement. Just what a buff Icefrog has granted us. Oh, God. I had him for 4,200 gold. Give me up, John. I've tested this. I did this at the pub. I got and you can turn yourself into stone and kick yourself away. So that's what I did, John. And luckily we were already 20k worth ahead, so we won the game. But I gotta tell you, it wasn't that influential. I thought maybe give him another buff or something. I'm looking forward to that one. If it's something PYW will get away with, of course. Speaking of this Earthfit, there's one thing the Earthfit really does here for VG, and that's mess up Emo. You know, that silence coming out. Silence just kills OD. So Emo has to be really careful with that, and it's going to play into the itemization of ROD. They're not opts for early BKB just to have that early fighting presence he might want to have. I agree. I think this is going to be a very, very hard game for everyone on the side of IG, if I'm quite frank with you, John. It really depends on how their laning start though, right? Like, I actually do have some decent sort of lane secure heroes with the Enchantress Tiny. The top lane gonna roll into Fly, but this might cost him. So he's gonna be surrounded now. No, it's only Carbine. He wasn't able to break the gap. As we saw Ollie, he actually ended up going for the bounty instead, naturally. But now I'm gonna try and chase down Yang a little bit. Try to do harassment out on this Bat Rider prior to the laning phase. And well, in fact, Yang might not be able to get into the lane again. Kaka, he won't even bother with the toss. He'll just go down to the bot lane now. Looks like we will get started. It's going to be a bit of an interesting one. You've already got PYW with that forward ward with the block as well, just ensuring themselves a good start. Gonna make it harder for Ollie. He's gonna have to commit his speed to only one camp. Both of them are blocked out, so options are limited. Whether or not he wants to commit early for his big creep on the bigger camp or have himself secure that pull, he's gonna have to choose one. That does leave the course to just kind of go out. It Fly against Yang. It's a Clinks against Bat Rider. The Clinks can maintain last hits, but they don't want to be copying too many sticky napalm. I don't think the trip is too hard. It's not like the Clinks moves particularly fast, so once you get 3 or 4 stacks, it can be tricky to dance around that Bat Rider. I love the fact that we actually saw 2 camps getting blocked off by PYW, and that's really... It only happens when you're up against a hero like Enchantress, right? Like, blocking that hard camp that you would usually pull yourself to try and get the lane equilibrium your way. The fact that he's actually blocked it out due to the fact that the Enchantress is there to steal those large creeps is pretty nice by PYW, but they already banned, or rather they already got rid of that ward anyway. Ollie de-warding it very, very early on. So that won't be too much of an issue now for the Enchantress. But having a look at another lane, and Ori going to be up against Emo, and for now, Emo should have somewhat of an advantage considering he does have Astral Imprisonment. And we have seen that being spammed out quite a bit by Emo, but Ori is still maintaining the last hit lead.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot stronger wave clear. It's less committal. With a Resonant Pulse, the AoE is a bit better than Astral Imprisonment as well, and it gives you wave tanking these waves. So Emo's options aren't as great. I'd say Astral Imprisonment starts to shine at level 2, level 3s where it really starts to take over. Although,
yeah, top lane, they do end up killing off Ollie for first blood. Yang also coming down. Ollie just popped every form of regen to try and survive underneath his tier 1 tower, but the Predator eventually just burnt him out in Firefly and it gone, but first blood does go to the way of Vici Gaming.
Yeah, it's a nice little start. You're not too pleased to be losing Yang on top of that. I think you'd rather have PYW traded away, but this gives your Earth start that early level 2 into level 3, and that's the key point for PYW. Talk about the early rotations this hero has to make. Really have to be effective early to snowball hard on that Earth Spirit.
Oh, it's every ES's dream John getting an early level 3. PYW is going to love this now because he can make the rotations if he so wishes. I doubt he will though. He'll probably tap a top lane and just wait for Ori has a few more levels up in the Void Spirit before making those rotations. So right now you really don't have that much damage in the Void Spirit quite yet. And while we have that time, we should look at the bot lane, which I haven't looked at it all yet. Kaka does actually throw in an avalanche toss as we look over to Eurus. Eurus has been farming very well in the Morphling so far, 16 and 5. Was DY keeping him safe from the Bane, and they aren't really able to shut him down so much with this Abaddon Tiny combination.
Yeah, it's a tricky lane to pull off. Like, he got some decent sustain here from IG, but that's a dual melee lane up against a Bane, up against a Morph. There's a lot of space they'd have to close out to really try and trade, and the best they can do is be disruptive towards these pulses. It's just that this doesn't stop yours. So that's a big issue for IG. You could argue JT is having a good time farming up. That's an Abaddon's farm up against a Morphling's farm though. VG's most definitely winning out and just having yours farm safely.
Oh, mid lane, Ori. He's getting very low. Emo's trying to finish him off. Carter, he's got a haste rune. He's going to dive in for the kill, and he does get it. Emo able to pick it up on the OD, and now DY is going to be a bit of danger.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Astral going to be out, but that's going to be it. Emo won't bother trying to follow up on top of that. They got the main kill they wanted anyway, and now they back off. Top lane, however,
At the
fly. Plinth, it is going to cost Jack his life, but what skill, I'd say it's well worth it.
Yeah, you got it first. You got the EXP first. You're giving your spirit something to build up off as well. Like, take a look at PYW now. He's about to level 4. Again, at the very early point for Earth Spirit, just giving more laning presence here. And he hasn't been able to rotate out, but they have been keeping that top lane hard to farm. This is slowing down Fly's pace on the Clinks, and that Clinks is a really timing sensitive hero. You don't want to lag too far behind. You want to get those early items up, play with your first death pack to really find some pickoffs as the game progresses.
I mean, you're really dependent on that. Considering Eurus is farming freely on the Morphling, you really do need to snowball that control on that thing. Mid lane looks at the Argon to jump onto Emo, but Spirit doesn't really land. Still Emo trying to run out of their PYW. Does roll in, but now Kaka has rotated in with nice toss back on DY, and great avalanche out with the Sanity's Eclipse being dropped. DY is probably just dead here on the Bane. He will be. Double kill up for Emo on the OD.
Yeah, that's a big one. Now, that gives Emo his early level 6. That's the first use of his Santies as well, and they managed to find really good kills.
I fly again, though. Down to Yang, and this is the third time Yang has given his life away for the sake of getting a kill up that top lane. But if you're killing off the pos one Clinks every time, I just don't think you care.
No. It's always favorable. He gets the kill first, he dies afterwards, gets XP in exchange. It's a really good play from Yang because he punished at that point where the Plinks is left alone, which the supports go back up top. It frees up the mid lane where you see the supports from VG again just camping around. You really want to slow Emo down on this OD.
Gonna roll in. He does have a double damage back, but it's not gonna matter as the Remnant does lock in an Emo. Just go KMK for a second. Now realizes he could have fought back just a little bit more, but it won't matter. He does go down. Nice initiation there from the supports of VG Gaming. Or PYW, he's going to have to make his way back up top as Yang is going to be surrounded by 3 heroes. He does get the flame break off, but Kaka got the avalanche, but you can't toss. If Yang's off the map, now the roll in from PYW does not land. At the very least, Yang does manage to get himself out of that one.
Yeah, I mean, you can see what IG's trying to do though. They're trying to maximize the locations for because they know they need to snowball hard. The fact that Yang gets away for free is a pretty big win for VG. He's got his bottle to regen up off once more. And again, when you've got these supports stuck up top, frees up that bot lane where Eurus continues to free farm. This Abaddon just not slowing down to morph, and Eurus at this pace is going to really work himself up fast. He hasn't queued up what he wants yet. So it could be that build into the Yasha, into the Manta we see. Maybe it's a rush for that shot again. Whatever it is, Eurus is going to find that farm really quick.
I wouldn't mind the shotgun this game either. As Amo mid lane gonna get jumped, but Ori does not connect the Aether Remnant. But I really wouldn't mind the shotgun build on the Morphling this game. Obviously works well up against the Enchantress, works well up against the Clicks. Like, you might not really be able to do much against the Abaddon, but it can't really do anything against him anyway. You may as well just go for the shotgun build as Eurus, as mid lane DY gonna get tossed back here trying to protect Ori on that Void Spirit. It's gonna cost him his life.
It didn't feel like they needed to sacrifice the wider, or he didn't manage to Astral step out, although
he's still going. Astral Remnant is going to connect, but now the Lapper is going to be out from the Avalanche toss, and Sanity's being dropped, but it's not going to be enough. Still surviving, or he's making a run for it, but Kaka is on the chase. Meanwhile, PYW does go down mid, and was somehow already going to kill. It looks like it was onto Ollie near the T1 tower. Avalanche does connect there onto Ori with the taunts. They do eventually get a 3-for-2 trade for the side of...
That aggression this lineup has on IG's side is starting to come together. You know, you're seeing Fly leave that top lane. He's got his 6th. Clinks doesn't need farm. That practices again. He just needs to eat a nice big creep, get a lot of damage. They can start melting these early objectives. And VG, this is the point where it can be hard for them. You know, you don't have an easy way of having Yang close the gap for an easy lasso. You don't have any real starting items yet. And Ori, I mean, he's at level 7, but you don't have anything like the Yules or even Uran's a Spirit Vessel just yet to really maximize the output of our Void Spirit. And this is something IG needs to maximize. Maximize that weak point in IG's draft. Although VG, they're looking around up top. They do have a lot of heroes here to try to find something.
Gonna roll in with Ollie. He's a pretty easy kill to get for Yang at the moment, but this is gonna fall TPs in from the Abaddon. Is gonna be out on Ollie. But now, Avalanche toss from Kaka gonna provide a lot of damage onto Yang, who's gonna try to make a run for it, but JT is in the chase, so Ollie does go down to DY with Yang, and now Yang is still gonna die to Emo, but DY, he will go for the TPL. Definitely not a worthwhile trade out from the side of VG Gaming.
No, it's a support for a core once more. You do force spawns out from IG. Again, you're seeing Emo leave his own lane as well, trying to find these early kills, and they do find a core for a support, but you're freeing up the time for Ori to play catch up. You've still got this super free lane after Eurus down bot. He has no one to contest him. So it's basically free farm for Eurus. He's working towards his Yasha, more than likely into the Manta, and just trying to work himself up on that Morphling.
Are fortified.
Quite interesting how he hasn't been controlling his top lane. Kaka gonna be in a bit of danger. Does go down, or he goes ahead and clears up that kill for himself. It is quite intriguing how they haven't really been able to do anything about this Morphling yet. And Eurus now is just going to TP into the mid lane and start farming there. In fact, they found a Fiend's Grip on to the Clinks. That means Fly is going to go down. Just a great setup out from DY.
Yeah, it's, again, small wins here for VG. They do tie it up 90-11, 1K advantage for VG. Europe with that rotation, he finds a kill. He's gonna go back in that jungle. They've got wards to keep them safe. There are some D wards here, but it also frees up the top lane for that top push. So you start to see VG wrestle control. That's the first objective on the map. Melt. They're starting to make it a bit harder for IG to take control in the farther portion of that dark jungle.
Well, I'd say this is the point where VG Gaming's draft should be, you know, just like as of right now, maybe just a few more minutes, but IG with their start seemingly are able to fight back. Unless of course Eurus gets involved in the morphling, in which case perhaps not. Well, AD1 is going to be chased by the tomato, but eventually it does get eaten by Fly, who does get nightmared up. Does have some friends coming in here from IG, but you know, we're going to make it in time.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Instead of IG going to start pressuring that bottom tower. However, Ori got to kill somewhere on the Void Spirit. On top lane, Emo going to end up getting the trade onto Ori. So Kark dies, but Ori does go down in the process. Again, you kind of question how worthwhile that was.
Yeah, it's not the best trade coming out for VG, and they don't even get any significant damage on that tier 2, so frees up IG to push the bot lane off though.
So they do catch out a big target. Emo is in trouble. The roll from PYW, but the Aphonic Shield is going to be up from JT. So now Yang gonna make a run for it as Karka shows himself, but Eurus, he wants to keep going with an avalanche toss of his own on the Karka. He does set up a kill, but now Eurus was getting very low. Be forced to back off. So just a nice quick pick up there from Eurus.
Yeah, that does help even at that. Now, 2K advantage going away with VG. A lot of it is riding on Eurus, who has kind of mixed it up. We're seeing some activity come up, but he's also been highly focused in farming, and that has paid off. They haven't really farmed as well. Fly start to really stagger behind or morphling it. Even Imo, right? Like, he's found a couple of kills with the use of his Santi's Eclipse, but he's opted for the early Midas pickup on the OD, so he's looking for EXP gain to ramp up. He just won't get his power spikes with his levels, some talent spikes as well. He's working towards the ad next. That's when it can really start to tie up. But I have to say, the Myers pickup is a bit strange. We've seen a couple more players go back to the EXP change. We'll see whether or not that does help Emo hit those he wants to hit.
Yeah, it definitely does come across a bit strange these days, seeing that Midas come out. Like, it feels just a little bit too slow. I don't know, he's already got the point booster up. He's not too far off Gats.
Oh,
I
Fly.
say that he's still 3k away, but Fly magnetized up, already jumping in with the astral step. Still Fly trying to survive, but the magnetize gonna be refreshed, and Ori does pick up the kill. And it's just not great news, because if Fly keeps dying like this, it's gonna put all the pressure onto Emo on that OD. So it's never really that good of an idea to put that much pressure on it. They might have a fight over that bot room now. JT getting kicked away, and Ori will show himself, but I progressive will take it now. They try to get a bit more, but VG Gaming looks to be just fine and rolling away here. G might have to just find the time for another target.
It's a tricky one. What would it build as well for into the axe? That means he has no BKB, so he's going to be open to those attributes.
Jump it in. Yeah, Redmond does. Have the nature, but DY is holding out on it. He wanted to use it for somebody else. JT was around the corner anyway with the Phonic Shield, so it wouldn't have mattered. He needs to put the Abaddon in Nightmare, if anything. Problem is, it can be taken off. A hard game for DY to find the optimal Fiend's grip. Just gonna have to wait it out for next time.
Yeah, this clump up down mid does force IG out of farming. They're gonna try to chase though, but Ori is highly slippery target, so they're gonna try to set their sights on that mid tier. One, the issue is he's loosely set for a bit of defense. It's not gonna be easy to push for IG to try to opt for.
And they're gonna do it anyway.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
PYW was really there trying to get the deny off the tier 1 tower. DY now coming in with the Nightmare. Still has the Fiend's grip, but even the Nightmare being taken by the Enchanted creep now. So it makes things even harder for DY, because you don't even have to commit a hero to take that Nightmare off.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Itchy. They're still in the lead. You've still got Eurus farming just fine. Evo is slowly catching up. Slowly making his way toward that Aghanim Scepter. That's where things can become a little bit complicated, but Fly, or rather Ollie, getting caught out on the Enchantress, does get taken out.
Yeah, that's a commitment to crypto, so that's going to leave DY slightly less useful for the next minute or so on that lane. I do see some major item pickups as well. Fly finishes up his Orchid in that downtime. So Clinks does have a bit more ganking potential here, has a bit more burst. It's just that we haven't really seen Fly in position to start hunting by himself. We'll see if this pickup will enable our Clinks to start really snowballing, because Fly right now hasn't been as successful in these rotations. He's got Kaka with his blink up and running. He has some backup there to gap close. That right now IG's forced to play in their half of the map. They're really set up to be aggressive. They're gonna have to be a bit cautious as VG continue to slowly build up.
That they are. It's still just a matter of Eurus, who has the mat up, going for the Eye of Guardian on that Morphling. His farm hasn't slipped at all on that Morphling. He's just doing his job, just having faith in the fact that he's going to be able to carry later on. You look at Fly in comparison on the Clinks, it just feels a lot slower than you're used to seeing. You know, usually that Orchid would be up so much earlier, and you could get those solo pick-off by yourself, but now you just can't. And bot lane, JT did get lassoed, does pop the Bo3, just managed to run for it, but they get the Yules off in time. So yeah, if they're going to lock him into JT, is definitely going to die.
You never understood.
Not quite it. I mean, again, the space for IG farm is limited, so someone has to sort of take that unsafe farm. But the ramp up for JT has slowed down as well. You know, everyone on IG side has really slowed down in farm. Our Abaddon is still saving up for his Vlad. His death down below also opens up a push for VG on that tier 1 bot. So IG, they're going to try to trade for the tier 1 top. They are clumped up there, and they should be able to find that tower trade. Just at this point, you know, VG is getting a bit more. They're going to start chipping away at those tier 2s as well.
But the very least with this T1 top tower, they're now probably going to get the Aghanim Scepter for Emo. So I guess you've got that going for you, but I do agree that the trades just don't seem as valuable for the side of IG at the moment. Speaking of, John, how'd you go with the Aghanims game? Did you end up making it to the last one?
I got the Spritzer, and I can't get a stack. You know, a lot of my stacks are either at trying to beat Grand Max already, or can't be bothered. So it's been a bit tricky, I have to tell you. I just want those voice lines, you know, like I want to be able to say "buck" and all that. And it's just like tilting, you know. It tilts me, but I love it.
Yeah. A break of smoke, but a nice avalanche shot from Kaka, but it's not going to be enough. And now Yang looking to try and turn it around here. Find a lasso step forward from Ori, trying to get more vision. But Emo is going to connect with the Astral. But I don't believe they can follow up here. They're just going to flit Ori back off. Now PYB is starting to rotate in. You can't forget he's got the Veil of Discord up, so it's a lot of magic amp happening right now for Ichi Gaming as IG gonna try and pressure this top tier 2 tower. But Ichi should be willing to take this team fight. Even with the Euros, it probably would. BYW trying to sneak his way with that Emperor's Rune, and Yang of course still looking for a lasso target. Ori now Astral stepping forward, does charge AT, but he's making a run for it. Bottle Smash is going to connect. Ori does connect with the Yules, but Bo3 time's going to be up. Now, they do got the Ollie instead that no. They get the lasso off on the Abaddon, and he is definitely going to down here JT. Even the Nightmare run on Ollie. A great catch up from DY. And it's going to be a secondary kill now for VG Gaming. And mind you, John, this is 4v5. This is without Eurus here on the morph. He eventually did TP his way in, but he was not involved in that whatsoever.
Yeah, this is getting really icky for IG. Those were two things for them that smoke. That was the ass reveal on Emo, was the blink reveal on Kaka, and it's also supposed to be Fly's Orchid reveal. None of that paying off. So VG continuing to build their lead up 6K now. And Raph has that timing. Oh no.
He ran past the sentry, and now the Fugitifs can connect. They're gonna have, even if it was just PYW there, they would have had enough damage. Or he does jump in and help out in the end, but it's just such a hard game for Fly at the moment. You never know when you're running past the sentry ward. DY, of course, is never to the opportunity to grip you like that, and well, PYW is getting caught out now, but Nightmare's beating on Hammer does come out from the end, but he's going to get on IG. They want to take the team fight. They're going to Astral off the CS, or rather keep up the Bane. Another Astral, but Avalanche is going to miss because of it. They block him up ultimately, and they will get the kill. Seemed like it took so much more effort than it needed to.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to be upset that for VG. That's just support going down. You're forcing out pretty much all the heroes of 5G to group up for a pause 5. They're going to try invading that jungle. If they did camp out heroes, that would be nice, but they don't manage to do it. There are lots of good wards here to protect that Morphling, and looks like they might just learn to approach.
Alright, well, I mean, why the hell not? Blindfight's going to join in. Gaming, you may not expect this. Like, it is rather unexpected to go for a Roshan like this from IG's end, but it looks like they are waiting for a smoke. They are going to get it off in time. Roshan, about half HP now, but they should make it in time. Double smoke being put by IG. They know they've got plenty of wards to scout out this smoke happening. Just waiting casually as you have the Ags now coming out of Oli, Ori, excuse me. IG get started again on that Roshan. Yang. Give vision with the Firefly. Now that's so he's going to catch out one. It is going to be the OD that looked to burst it on PYW with the huge hypnotize on the Earth Spirit. Oli is falling very, very good on the Enchantress. Kaka does try to get the ES, but he's still running away. In fact, he's going to roll away Kaka. He can't finish off the killer. Now he gets kicked away to Bird. And it's going to be basically full team fight. The only person to survive was Emo on the OD.
He bought back. He bought back, and he can't even go back in. They lose the Aegis. That wipe from VG, it's really highlighting the weaknesses of IG's draft. This is what happens to the OD when you don't go for an early BKB. He got caught by the last, but even afterwards, he has no way of saving himself out. Their entire team fight hinges on Kaka getting control, and that is it. They just have no way of controlling up these heroes. VG, even with all the save they have nothing of their own. And I mean, they're at the point where Eurus is going to join these fights. He's got his Scotty flying up, he's got the Aegis, he's ready to apply that pressure in VG, and they've got to find a way to get pickup. They've got these tools on hand for a while. They haven't been able to use it. They need to get some work done here.
That Roshan, it felt very, very desperate. It just
100%.
It just felt so desperate from IG. Like, they had wards out, which was greater. And they don't take the Roshan quite fast enough right now. It looks like they just kind of wanted to take it away and see if they can snag it off.
Firefly?
Aiming, yeah, Fly. It's been caught out again. But the media have a follow-up from Yang. And Eurus is just able to take the kill for himself, the Morphling. And it just gets worse and worse for IG. It's a 15k net worth lead.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
They're trying to chase PYW, but they can't even find him. The Avalanche misses, and he just rolls around wasting time. That lead is just it's not the spot IG wants to be in. This is Emo with Midas, and he's barely keeping up with Yang, who has been, trading his life away for a lot of these kills. And your biggest core just can't be big enough. It's just a lot that IG has to try to counteract, but they're losing space in the map to find that catch and farm.
There's a rip on top lane. Emo thinking he's safe on the high ground, but Eurus is going to be able to get there, and that forces 4 TP back to the base. Eurus is just going to make a run for it. fact, he might fuck back. Kaka, he got a time hit. Now the Avalanche taunts out, and Ori is there to help him out. The silence. They do get the timing. Now Ollie is in big trouble, and he looks to go down as they've called the GT ball played. 26 minutes in, they've had enough.
Oh, I mean, we said it was VG favored, but
It's a clip.
IG. Oh, it was. They got cleaned up. They were trying to run a draft.
$1,500 gold. He actually is going to go straight into the pipe here, opting to tank up even more.
Rolling boulder from Zep misses again, but there's the invest bomb, and this time Ohio's in trouble. Roar will come out, they have the magnetize, they get off the silence as well, and Ohio will get right click down. The exorcism will go from Mushi, doing a decent amount of damage to that aggressive. The Borslow comes through, he has no infest, he has the armlet toggle, needs to be careful, the Spirit Siphon coming out, the glimpse back onto aggressive, gets him back in there. They get the grave off in time though, the open wounds will come through, they have the kinetic shield. There's the black hole, from the long ground, on to 3, Step as well as them one are gonna get chewed down. 3 dead. Mushi gets a double kill. DJ, are you kidding me, from the low ground?
DJ, God, the crowd, he just goes insane as he hits the black hole of his life. And likely could just give this one up. The vision advantage with the Hawk does help. But nope, they're ready. They've actually got a smoke. They can bypass the Hawk with this, but
there's no way they take this in time. Fnatic need to get out. Mushi is going to be stunned by the boulder smash. They're going to come through. Showit looking for a Ravage. Can't find it. Mushi pops the BKB early. Aggressive blinks in. Pops the rage as well. Still has his BKB ready to go. They really want to contest this and take it down as quickly as possible. They get the refresher for Ohio. It's coming out. Double Roar is ready. Can they find a kill off of this? Maybe he's walking up with the Silver Edge. Ohio's going to get caught first. Ravage catches onto 2. Black Hole counter initiation. Static Storm on top. Aggressive is low. They get up to Static Storm. Showit pops the refresher. Not enough. Maybe it's getting chewed through by mid 1. They get up the Roar. They'll lose 2, they'll lose 3. They buy back on the Tide. He's got another Ravage. They have no buyback on Maybe. What an initiation from DJ.
Secures another kill, and Tongfu is going to continue to push. They're not done. Mech still hasn't even been used. There's a hook. Howell brought all the way back to the base. Cleaned up by the fountain. And waddles his way back to the front lines.
Well, like I said, it does waste time, but they kind of need it. I mean, they need to be able to just eliminate somebody from the fight, very similar to what Mu can do for Tongfu. So if he had been a little bit farther up, he would have been able to throw the hook, but the thing is there was a range creep in the way.
There it is.
Oh, there it is, yep.
Banana going for a ride on the Dindy Express. Welcome to the well. He just goes to Tongfu. And now charging back out. Dindy going to be spotted, and he gets, no, he doomed to Chen. That's a much better choice. Oh, he got him. He got him. Not going to follow it all the way because we got a battle to watch with Puppy. Trying to get away from it. Going to be telekinesed back. And they will be able to get him as well. There you so a 1-for-1 trade. And wow, Hal is still alive down there. Engagement breakout as Kuro. Oh, there we go. The hook. Got him. Zhan Xing taking the long ride to Shanghai. Welcome home. Na'Vi is down. Can you say mega creeps? Na'Vi, he got him. One more. This is what you call one for the road.
Man, I can't.
The game for IG. Who leads the way? I believe it should be Zoe. They're gonna cut for the shorter path. They storm up the river. Patience from Zoe. Waiting in the wings. Na'Vi's about to be caught. Oh, there's the sleep. The surge. He catches everyone. Oh, this could be a total disaster. Vacuum in. Ravage on everyone. The black hole as well. Light of heaven turns it around.
Ravage as well. Stolen by Dandy. Are you kidding me? They turn it around. 4 heroes dead for
5
IG.
heroes dead. Chuan trying to survive. Chuan's gonna go down. Puppy talked about the Naga counter. It's Light of Heaven. What's his BKB? They turn it around. I don't even know how they're gonna do it. Standing ovation from the crowd. The last tower will be going down.
Start the fight with that global and just try to blow up and get on top of that Zeus right away. Get into that backline. I mean, the Rubik and the Zeus are really starting to be quite an issue for them.
Chalice is in with the opener, straight in with the lasso. The tower will fall, but they'll drag back the Amber Spirit into the torrent, cut him down with the Tidebringer. He's dead once, but on the side, they find Arme. Arme's dead for 60. Still alive at the moment. And all the use! The dodge! Anna up into the end, dodging the Echo Slam. Somnus, he's trapped here in the Sprout. OG, they'll slowly punch down the Kunkka. The stolen Vision Jerax sets up onto FY. OG!
So this PL will continue just to BT split push this game out, get more and more money, and that for me is still the biggest problem for Evil Geniuses. Where do you go with this? Fear needs to have that damage dealing item, but in order to do so, he's got to drop either his TP scroll or sell the Ring of Aquila. And Samel, Blink, Dragon Tail stun. Garda's going to be here with the hookshot as well. Laguna bites Samel. The Cogs Burn bought them a little bit of extra time, and with Samel down and no buyback, Roshan is a very, very juicy target here for CDEC.
Yeah, EG are going to know they're going for it, though. First of all, it would be pretty obvious from the lane situation, but they also have a good ward around the river area to see that CDEC are moving in there now. I don't think EG are interested in contesting this 4-on-5, but maybe they could delay it long enough for it to be a 5-on-5 if they Ice Blast and Fissure properly. There is no hook shot.
They're all together. PPD, here comes the Ice Blast, ready for the dodge! In from Universe! It's a disaster! CDEC! They're gonna get wiped from the face of the earth, apart from aggressive. He'll jump out, but the wombo combo perfectly hits from Evil Geniuses, and now they will take Roshan. Samel is back, they'll get the egg into the Immortal. OG right behind Arme. Gets the jump, finds the Pugner. Vision will not find a stun. Pugner with no buyback. OG, they were really playing with fire. The Hex down the Terrorblade. Spectral Haunt looking for the frontline attack, but that's why Somnus goes into the backline. The BKB, they're into the backline. Shaker, he's bouncing around. Hawk shot, she stuns on the way through. ES is gone. No buybacks available. Have LGD done it? They're holding Anna. Hold him in place. Chalice will find the damage. F5 will die for it. No, really? Anna is actually running away, but it won't stop Arme from blinking up, looking for the tier 3 tower. 2 players left alive for OG. They're the big ones, however. Thompson and Anna on the defense duty. Fortification. It's delayed as much as they possibly can. And now the jump out. Hex, the boy in the bubble. Thompson able to be protected once again. Chalice very, very low on mana. They have a lot, but Arme, he'll change the life with Anna. Thompson needs to be pushed away. Able to do so. FY jumps onto the illusion only, so the hookshot won't be able to connect. But Anna, he needs to retreat. There's so much damage. Anna down. Buyback is available. They still have not taken the mid racks. OG are just trying to delay LGD for the moment. 5 heroes around. The bubble is there protecting the melee racks. Anna, Sunder by once again. The Sunder switches the life. Arme's back up to full health, but the damage from Thompson, it's good enough to kill off the bait. Buyback is there. Somnus leads forward. They just keep bunching them around, but they're still battling from inside the bubble. Pugner will come to the world living LGD. They're going for the GG push. They're going up the tier 4 towers. OG, they have to hold the line. They have the numbers. Seven from the side with a take on Arme, but no! Sunder is back up. It is there. Chalice will fall. They lose the Enchantress. FY pushing around Anna. He's so low. Can they get the die back on him? You bet your Nelly they can. Arme still very, very low. The blast will kill him off. But buyback. LGD want this now. LGD, or can they? Backing up? No, they're not. Terrorblade. BT's forward. The ball is up. Thompson needs to defend. X-Nova very visible. You've got a very, very low life Marana. But OG, they can't find the target. X-Nova, he's got the grip. He's got the control. He's got the kill. Thompson is down, but ES is up. Where the Echo Slam. Oh, there it is. Forward. There's your slam. There's the dunk. There's the play. Jirax, the savior of OG.
1500 gold. He actually is going to go straight into the pipe here, opting to tank up even more.
Rolling boulder from Sep misses again, but there's the best bomb, and this time Ohio's in trouble. Roar will come out, they have the magnetize, they get off the silence as well, and Ohio will get right click down. The exorcism will go from Mushi, doing a decent amount of damage to that aggressive. The Borslow comes through, he has no infest, he has the armless toggle, needs to be careful, the Spirit Siphon coming out, the glimpse back onto aggressive, gets him back in there. They get the Grave off in time though, the open wounds will come through, they have the kinetic shield. There's the black hole from the low ground, on to 3, Sep as well as MM1 are gonna get chewed down, 3 dead, Mushi gets a double kill. DJ, are you kidding me, from the low ground?
DJ, God, the crowd here just goes insane as he hits the black hole of his life, and likely could just give this one up. The vision advantage with the Hawk does help, but nope, they're ready. They've actually got a smoke. They can bypass the Hawk with this, but
there's no way they take this in time. Fnatic need to get out. Mushi is going to be stunned by the boulder smash. They're going to come through. Showit looking for Ravage, can't find it. Mushi pops the BKB early, aggressive blinks in, pops the rage as well, still has his BKB ready to go. They really want to contest this and take it down as quickly as possible. They get the refresher for Ohio. It's coming out. Double Roar is ready. Can they find a kill off of this? Maybe he's walking up with the Silver Edge. Ohio's going to get caught first. Ravage catches onto 2. Black Hole counter initiation. Static Storm on top. Aggressive is low. They get up to Static Storm. Showit pops the refresher. It's not enough. Maybe he's getting chewed through by mid 1. They get up the Roar. They'll lose 2. They'll lose 3. They buy back on the Tide. He's got another Ravage. They have no buyback on Maybe. What an initiation from DJ.
Secures another kill, and Tongfu is going to continue to push. They're not done. Mech still hasn't even been used. There's a hook. How? Brought all the way back to the base. Cleaned up by the fountain. And waddles his way back to the front lines.
Well, like I said, it does waste time, but they kind of need it. I mean, they need to be able to just eliminate somebody from the fight, very similar to what Mu can do for Tongfu. So if he had been a little bit farther up, he would have been able to throw the hook, but the thing is there was a range creep in the way. There it is, yep.
Banana going for a ride on the Dindy Express. Welcome to the well. Aegis goes to Tongfu. And now charging back out. Dindy gonna be spotted, and he doomed the Chen. That's a much better choice. Oh, he got him! He got him! Not gonna follow it all the way because we got a battle to watch with Puppy. Trying to get
Dire team ban. VG Gaming's turn to ban. Dire team ban.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are here for game number 2 between VG Gaming and IG. It is an LP and of course, John Expired. John,
5
welcome.
seconds remaining.
Game 1 ended rather quickly. Game 2, I can only imagine what you think IG should do differently this time.
Oh, well, there are a couple of things. You know, they've got to play to their strengths. We saw with Fly and that Clinks, he had a decent time in lane. He was being traded away with to play to their strengths. We saw with Fly and that Clinks, he had a decent time in lane. He was being traded away with Gang, but he was still somewhat up there. He never got to use that Orchid. In fact, I'm thinking back, I don't know if he actually found a kill with that Orchid at all at any point in the game. In IG, and they hit some certain item spikes, very fast book on Kaka, got the axe at a solid time for none of it just went together. So they've got to play around with spikes better. They've got to find their openings a bit better and really commit to better fights. That Roche fight really messed them up early on. They've got to kind of wait it out when things like that break down. Still, you got different openings this time. VG, they get to pick that chick. We tend to see banned out first. To get to have themselves that team fight, have themselves that disruptive support that we know can really shape the pace of the fight. And IG, they start off with ET into the Rubik, so they kind of reveal their support though, unless they run the offlane ET in this case, but you've got the Rubik to steal that feature, which is a really easy spell to steal, and that does make the Rubik very potent, so it's a bit better tied up here for IG. I just don't like the possibility of having shown book support off the bat. That's something VG can really draft around and kind of abuse.
Unless it was like a core Rubik, which definitely won't be, but it is possible, John. With the recent changes to Rubik, I think there's a possibility that we could see core Rubik come back someday. I don't think it's going to be today, but maybe in a few weeks, maybe in another tournament, who knows? We'll see it eventually. Still BG Gaming, they do go back into the Batrider now for their second pickup, and you can't quite blame them. Gang essentially just deleted Fly from game one. After that laning stage Fly had, I don't necessarily blame Fly for that, because it's very hard going into a Batrider, but he had like 3 deaths in the laning stage and he just never took off. I believe his Orchid came at 18, 19 minutes into the game, which is quite low for a Clink, to say the least. Just never had impact. Gang was just way too influential that game, and I think the Batrider just works perfectly fine here as well.
Yeah, it's a lovely pick for VG because you've put IG in the same spot where core Rubik or support Rubik, the core ET or the support ET, both of them in any position don't do anything against the Batrider. You know, he's not going to care when he gets flat, so you're not going to stop that control. So VG's got that in spades still, that single target control coming out, and you will have to consider whether or not they want to go back to something like the JT Abaddon, if that's even on pool still. It's because we're going to see that same performance, and well, even with the Abaddon last time, it just didn't seem like enough to counteract all the control from VG. So IG's got to find a way to deal with that bat, and they've got to be a lot more careful with Fly Sling in this matchup.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that one. I kind of wonder what they give him as won this game, to just have a better time up against that Batrider. Like, there's not many heroes that have a great time up against the bat, but I just wonder what else they could give him this game around. I mean, we can already see they've changed up Ollie's hero this game. I believe he'll be playing the Old Titan. So rather than having the Enchantress, you're going to have the Old Titan there. And both are very lane dominant kind of position 5s to have. I'd still argue the Enchantress is even more lane dominant than the Titan is. I want to just switch things up there and maybe just try and guarantee a safer lane for Fly. But it's just going to also be a matter of what position 1 you do grant them in.
Yeah, I mean, last time around, I think at this time of the draft in this ban, IG did remove the PL, which would be great against the bat if they actually get to pick it up. The issue is VG does pick first right after these bans. So if they don't ban that PL out, VG might just take it for themselves, and you're stuck with the same issue. ET and Rubik don't really do anything against PL, although laning phase can be quite nice. So you see IG this time around, they banned the Ember. They might be setting their sights towards that PL. You have to hope VG doesn't either ban it or pick it up first, though.
Yeah, true. I mean, you say it's putting up against the Batrider, but early on it's going to struggle a little bit, right? Like, I mean, of course, later on it's a different story, but at the start of the game, he may just run into the same issues that he was having previously, which is you just can't farm up against Batrider, and you're probably going to die. You do get close to those creeps. Still, one more ban left before we get to see what IDs they have. Speechy Gaming just probably going to look to ban another position 1 here for themselves. In fact, last game round we did see the Oracle being, but of course they've already got their support choice, so there's no point in that. Instead, they are going to ban the offlane JT Legion Commander. And well, now the third comes around for VG.
Yeah, and again, it's a very easy time to pick PL for themselves. They've got the Shaker, they take care of the LC matchup as well if they wanted to. You still worry about the ET order Rubik in that lane early, but beyond that laning phase, the PL is going to have a pretty good time for VG if they opted for it. It's not really a necessary pick, even if IG do take it, for example. Like, yeah, initially the lane against Batrider is still rough, and that would be IG picking a PL into a Shaker. We've seen a couple of teams opt for that, even if it's, you know, it's not the best. But something that could happen for IG as VG, they do pick the Void Spirit first, so they get that comfort pick back for Ori. We saw how much he did in game number 1. He was just online, ready to go, didn't give any breathing room towards Emo, and he was just setting that pace up for VG. So you can't fault him for going back to these two same heroes once more. Why change something that worked really well in game 1?
No, I agree. I think Ori had a bit of a rough laning start up against the OD Vimo, but after the laning phase, he was just fine. Just seemed unaffected by that laning issue he had up against the OD. I wouldn't quite blame Emo for going back to the OD, if that's what he so wishes, up against the Void Spirit, because again, he did have a decent time. Whether it's what Emo wants this game is an entirely different story, because it did feel like he wasn't able to do much after the laning phase. And you could kind of attribute that back to the fact that he did go the Midas build.
Oh yeah.
But then it's like, was that really it? And there's that PO you talked about. It does come out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's still a somewhat solid way of dealing with that. Solid way of dealing with Void Stick. You worry about the Shaker. Again, we've seen so many teams opt for the PL into the Shaker, and early on it's fine. You know, you can handle the Shaker. The Shaker needs to wait for a blink. He needs to wait for those moments where the PL gets caught out. Once those moments come out, though, I mean, the Shaker gets PL. You know, it's Echo Slam. That's all you need to know about that one. So there's a tight window here for IG. I do think Fly should have a better time against the bat here. So at least there's that. You know, they do have a way of getting Fly to the point where he can farm up, he can become that big core, and with your PL, you shouldn't see Fly in these early fights. The game when we saw him join mid-engagement by the 10-minute mark, or even before then, like at level 5, not the best spot. But with Clinks, you kind of feel pressure to do that. So with a PL, should be more free to farm up. VG, though, really building up on that team fight. They pick up the Disruptor to close out their second pick phase, and with the Shaker, with the Batrider, this is a lot of control, a lot of team fight for VG, a lot of solid ways to really force these fights, although IG, it's looking a bit better this time. They've got the Kunkka for at least one here to be locked down, whether the Batrider or the Void Spirit with the Act, the Boat buff to play around with, and combine that on top of the control that ET has. It's pretty solid now for IG. They've got a very strong way of fighting back against VG's own aggression.
That could be. I do like the Kunkka. I gotta say, I love the disruption from VG Gaming up against the PL pick, but the Kunkka is nice for sure for IG. And right now, VG Gaming, like just based off their drop, it kind of feels like they might not have enough damage. Especially considering that boat run buff is going to make it a lot harder to get through the HP pools of these heroes IG. Because we only really have the Eurus hero left here to pick up for VG Gaming. Speaking of Eurus, Morphling has not been banned yet. I don't necessarily think that's what he wants, but at the time I wouldn't quite blame him. Decent morph heroes to go into, like the Kunkka's there, the PL's there. Even the Ruby can be quite useful to take if you so wish. Playing the Morphling, and it will be left. They're feeling confident.
Yeah, that's an interesting one to leave in. I mean, VG's got the Shaker. We've seen teams still opt for that Morphling Shaker combination, and they tend to actually ignore the Ags build-up for the Shaker form until late. But that option won't be there if VG wants it, and that's a surprising way to go about it for IG. That might just be how VG closes out. Like, again, you don't have anything that can really solidly punish the Morphling too hard, as long as the game goes long enough. And we know Eurus' farming pace, he'll hit that power spike no matter what. You know, he's very disciplined about just focusing on his lane, focusing on the last hits, and VG trusts in his playstyle enough that they just allow him that space.
5 seconds remaining.
ID, I'll pick up.
VG
JT's hero is still not there. They do eventually go for the Omni. Alright. It just makes their lineup even more durable if you really look at it that way.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the Kunkka, you've got the Omni with all sorts of sustain. You've got a way of mitigating, or at least minimizing the impact of the control of VG with your status resist. So there is some value in that Omni here. It's not the most common pick for good reason, but it does give them a way of stemming the tide up against VG. We'll see if that is enough. VG, we've got a fair minute here to consider what to close out with. The Morph is still in the pool, but there's a lot more they can play with as well. You know, like there are a lot of options there. It's just really up to you. How fast exactly do VG want to play?
Blame them for just going back into. They just wanted to secure a late game kind of core. I mean, it can be a bit tough into the PL for sure. That Morphling, PL's one of those heroes that just can be very difficult to deal with later on. So VG, they're going to have a bit of a think about this one. If they can find a better option, and no, it is going to be back into the Morphling for Eurus. So no better options here. And I don't think it's too bad either. I mean, he had such a great game last game, Eurus. Well ahead of net worth in comparison to anyone else. If they can do a similar thing to what they did last game, ID should have a lot of trouble dealing with it.
Oh yeah, I think the game plan for VG here is, it's not really a story about the Morphling at the PL. It's more that VG wants to catch the PL out, have the Morphling follow up. So it's always going to be down to either PYW or Yang to kind of force that issue up and take control of Fly. Beyond that, Eurus, he's just going to get the space to farm. It's that same strat for Protect 1 for VG. IG need to find a way to counteract that. They do have, well, much more durable Eurus, much more presence in team fights, in terms of control at least, especially with all these ET around and Emo's Kunkka. So there's more options there for early fight. IG, they're going to have to play a bit faster, try to punish VG for going for that slow farming core once more, and try to, at the same time, try to Fly some space to breed. We saw him in game 1. He just did not have that safe time to farm. That's something IG will have to sort of prioritize here in game number 2.
Yeah, if it all pans out, game 2, IG need to win this one to try and force game 3, and well, if they don't, not yet, but they will be knocked down to the lower bracket playoffs, and it's a lot rougher down there than it is up here in the upper bracket, that's for sure. And of course, if you do get knocked down, you have to play another best of 3 today. I don't really want that. I mean, I said it wasn't the end of the world if you lose, but it could be, as if you lose that lower bracket first round, you're just out of the tournament.
Oh yeah.
So it could be a very, very hard day for whichever team loses this first round of the upper bracket.
Yeah, it's going to be really key just to maintain that good stride. You don't want to have to make it harder for yourself in this tournament, of course. So we'll see if IG can hold out. Still, a bit of a shakeup we forgot to mention, VG. They do swap some of their heroes around. It's PYW on that Rider this time, and Yang is on the core Shaker. So they want to get faster farm Shaker. They want that fast blink up. They want to be ready to bring the fight towards our IG. I don't mind this. PYW on the Batrider. He can just play in the jungle really fast anyway. Need that catch-up farm. So just giving Yang Shaker means your Shaker will be online a lot faster.
That's very true. And it's not like PYW can't do the same thing anyway that you would do if you're an offlane Batrider. Like, you're going to have less XP, but at those earlier levels, you should have enough to be able to just annoy the heck out of Fly at this PL. See if they can get it done. Of course, Yang will just be focused on farming himself up on this Shaker. He's already actually got a bot queued up on that ES, ready to go, but Fly wanted to contest for the bounty, but eventually does just back off. That's going to be a 3-for-1 trade, or no, never mind, it's going to be a 2-for-2 trade. So I thought somebody from VG Gaming would have gotten the bottom one, but nobody bothered. So IG do manage to grab both there. A nice little even start for both teams.
Yeah, it's going to keep it fairly tied up. I think the offlane for IG in this case, with JT on the Omni and Kaka and Rubik, it's not as tricky. You've got sustain once more in JT, but Kaka on a ranged hero can try to trade hits and slow down that farm of the fade ball. So Eurus shouldn't have as much of a free time. We'll just see how much pressure they do apply in this matchup, as DY is really just trying to apply as much harass as he can with Tons of Strife.
Yeah, just the classic things. Understrike Kaka over and over again. He probably won't even bother trying to get JT. There's really no point in doing so. He'll just be able to regen with all the regen he does have.
This one was.
I was looking at the mid lane for a second. You'll see Emo versus Ori now. Last matchup was definitely a bit difficult for Ori. This one arguably even more so. That Kaka
has been killed.
It's very, very hard. Once you've got a few more levels up in Tidebringer, it becomes almost impossible to lane against this kind of hero. Ori will have to be very, very careful about how he plays this matchup.
Yeah, there's a lot of really strong creating potential for Emo, although he's got to be a bit careful as well. If Ori can latch on with Remnant and then follow up with some hits of his own, it can be rather tricky. It's just has more breathing room. So it's down to how the supports rotate in, and that does mean top lane where they do lock in Yang.
Definitely locked in. Fly to throw the lance out isn't gonna be enough. Looks like they can't get the final hit in. So Yang will be able to walk away with his life intact. PYW with the sticky napalm charge slowing them down enough. Yang's gonna be thanking his lucky stars with that one though. Now the Stomp's coming in again. Fly has another lance to throw out, but Enchant Totem's gonna be there. Fly, however, does manage to get the first blood. Yang will make TP back up once he's respawned.
It's a lot of better start for IG. At the least, it can punish Yang a lot more consistently. You know, all this Shaker wants is to farm up. He doesn't offer any levels in the fissure, so there's no real way to bail himself out. It's down to PYW to try to harass him out, and while the PL can purge himself, Ollie on the other Titan is fairly tanky, so it's tricky to actually work this lane for VG, at least in this early point of the laning phase.
It is. Eurus is having a much slower time on that morph this game. He's currently 7-0. JT and Kaka are zoning him out very, very nicely on that morphling. He was going for the small camp pull, but it's not really going to be that effective as Kaka is going to intercept. Won't really be able to go for the large camp pull afterwards. But the lane is eventually just going to push out again here for Eurus. He doesn't really have much of a choice. Have to take what he can get. But I love the fact that IG is making this lane work. Like, the Omni Knight is still a very, very dominant hero in that laning phase, and with top lane PYW does end up killing off Ollie right behind the Tier 1 tower. Nice little pick up there from VG Gaming.
Yeah, and that's one of the things you have to watch out for with the support bat. You hit level 3, you're still in a good point to find those kills, and with this really nice stack they've built up for PYW, if you didn't contest this, then at some point the Bat Rider is going to find some flash farm as well. So I already see Fly trying to get this camp to work in his favor by getting that pull off, but if they do intercept, that's not going to be a good time there for IG.
You try to protect the illusion rune there for Ori, but Ollie will end up taking it. Or it would have to wait till the 5-minute bounty runes are up instead. I mean, Ori's still farming great. I'm gonna give him that on the Void Spirit. He's doing a fantastic job considering the circumstances. Emo is just keeping up on the Kunkka at the moment. Needs that full bottle up on that Void Spirit soon though. It's getting a bit low now. Have to wait a couple more seconds and go to the bounty rune spot. Top lane looks like they're thinking about making a play on Ollie, but Ollie's gonna be just fine to run away on the Titan. Of course, Yang can't really do much right now on the ES either. He's gonna wait for a lot more levels than this. And speaking of Yang, John, his sub's not bad, but it's not amazing either. He still hasn't got that bottle up yet.
Yeah, it's been slow going for the Shaker, and it's just really down to how much more IG can play.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Down I go. Eat my wake.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I did not see the true danger. Torn from your flesh.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant are scanning. Radiant structures are fortified. Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's top tower is under attack.
No sorceries avail.
Dire are scanning.
My waters rise.
Of ourselves.
Bounty!
Case of lane rash there.
Gold for my forward. A gift from the Tempest of Battle.
Clear sailing now.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
In your ignorance of the omniscience.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
No.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
No, sir.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's courier has been killed. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Of us all. Nations will break. Campaigns and
Shakedown.
the armor of omniscience.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Tainted bounty.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
The tithe.
IG's the one that wants to play fast. All the slower pace does mean it gives time for PYW to farm up. He's a lot less active in this Bathrider. You know, he's working towards his own meter hammer once more, just for that control. So you're still getting tools up and running here for VG, or he's still saving up for his Eagles, one part of it, until he has that additional control, and yours is going staple.
Not lasso off, but it's just PYW by himself at the moment. But he actually forces so many rotations with that lasso. Eurus does eventually show himself mid, but looks like he wasn't really interested in getting involved in the first
Radiant's
place.
middle tower is under
Now,
attack.
they'll TP DY up top, where they might try to make a play onto Firefly as they do bait him in with Ori. Yang is around the corner with Neko. But there is a ward scouting around. That's not their ward on the dice, but this ward is going to have Yang.
Oh.
Well, now they'll lift him up from Karkov into a boat from Emo, and Yang is set to just die. Like they're gonna take the Ancients as well.
Yeah, it's a really big win for IG. They're just applying that pressure on the map. They force VG in a spot where they haven't been able to find their openings with that slam, and that's just costly, although they might look for a counterfight here.
You haven't really got Lasso on PYW. They're gonna get the real Fly into the Static Storm, and great little play off DY. Ori is trying to burst it down, but Fly, he will not go down. They just don't have the damage output quite yet without Yang or Eurus.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And so it looks like they're kind of back to the drawing board here, VG Gaming. Just more farm to be had at the moment. IG, they are certainly looking to be in the driver's seat.
Oh, they definitely are. They know they can apply this pressure out. VG's forced to play an even slower game and catch PYW out.
Yeah, this Barrowati has been having a rough time from PYW. Gonna die once again.
Ooh, it's just not the way they'd want us to go. They've had that blink in their shaker for a long time, but they're still waiting for the key items. They're gonna make a move on JT, or at least force him to think twice about this spot, but they're being encircled here.
A lot of rotation down from VG. Eurus does TP away in time. So, IG are being need to run around the map quite a little for nothing, but now Ollie does find 3, but the problem is he finds 3, and there's too many for him to control, so he will go down. But now Emo's coming in with the boat onto Yang. They'll lock him down on the hot ground for a little while. Yang actually doesn't have his flick up for another few seconds, but the Lasso is going to be there. Emo not going to be dragged up, and now the Echo does come up from Yang into that kinetic field. No Static Storm for another 2 seconds. They might not need it because Emo is dropping, and so is Firefly. They're keeping him alive for now, but there goes Emo. Now Firefly is set to also die. As Yang, he's not done. He's chasing down JT on the Omni. Has Fisher back up in a second. Eventually will connect, but now the stops out from Ollie. Holding the back with the Earthquake, and to get low drop, but a great Static Storm out from DY with the kinetic field. It's going to allow Eurus to go in there and clean up. And they just want JT on the Omni. Looks like they will be able to secure the goal.
Ooh, yeah, that's the team fight we were looking for from VG. They line it up, they finally get that first Echo Slam out for the blink, and it's very worthwhile. They transition to a really good objective as well, going for that mid-tier 1, giving them that control on the jungle, and IG, in a snap, loses the 3k lead, from 3k down to less than 1k, and VG's got a lot more room to breathe. They even managed to finish up PYW's Meteor Hammer, so you've got that follow-up to the Lasso, you've got to wait for this Batrider to shove lanes out, and he's setting up for a blink into the BKB. So that initiation for VG starting to build up nicely. You've got the Yule's on Ori up and running, of course, so he can chain stun as well on his own in the Ags, and that would be the major spike for Void Spirit. Just having that AoE silence is going to be amazing in these fights. Still, IG, they know they've still got some power left. They smoke up trying to find a pick-off.
And they'll run right next to Ori. Smoke's gonna be broken. They do split up Ori there, but Emo, he wasn't in range for the X. So Ori, he's just gonna run his way out of there. X doesn't eventually connect. Assimilate is gonna be expended at the right time. Even the Yules, just in case. Make his way out, and it's a bit of a missed opportunity out from IG. They're just desperate for any kill they can get at the moment. As time drags on, Eurus is only getting bigger and bigger, John. He's getting close to that Aghanim Scepter now on that Morphling. Once that's up, the ES Morph combination is online. That's when things get very, very silly for a Morphling. I just don't think IG have enough to deal with that at the moment.
Yeah, speaking of Firefly.
Yeah, DY, Static Storm gonna be dropped. Firefly does juke it out nicely. Now the X gonna be out of the DY and the Disrupt gun. Firefly's gonna go after it, but now the Lasso, Echo being Yang. It's decent Echo. AT's gonna get bursted down. Even will finally throw the boat out. They are at least gonna get to their trouble. PYW and DY both dying for the sake of that Omni Knight. And that'll be the end of that. VG Gaming want no more of this.
Yeah, it's not the most worthwhile trade for VG. Kind of flub the Static Storm there. If it did land in the real PL, perhaps that could have given VG something better to trade with, but they force a fight right at tier 1. It's an easy access point for IG, and they make the most out of it. So VG's forced to back off. If there is push happening down in this bot 2, you're not in a position to defend. So that could be a free objective as well for IG if they do force that issue out.
Flyplay put the S and Y up on the Morphling. That's mini PO, but now Yang still with the fish. PYW able to get the form of a lasso off. It is on cooldown, but it is be there from DY, and Flyplay is still slowly but surely dying. Eventually, Ollie does submit the Earth to get him out of there. So they will just let this tier 2 power push go? Maybe not. Flyplay is being healed up by JT. They wants to go back in. Looks like he is going to be very, very committed to going after that tier 2. Gaming will continue committed to defend, but now there's going to be a lift up, and the Static Storm does not land on Fly. So yeah, it's going to be a major trouble, or able to be, they cannot save CS.
Regeneration.
That 2 tower is definitely set to just end up dying here.
Yeah, those were some strange decisions to defend. Again, they committed their TPs under course before that push to bail out, so their course couldn't join in. They lose that tower, they lose a couple of heroes they shouldn't have, but that was enough time for Yurks to safely farm up his ag. So that more picker combination to play, and you know how silly that can get. There's a lot of control, a lot of damage coming out onto Yurks now. That might just give them the edge when it does come down to a big fight.
To this day, I can't believe this combo of Morph EX is still a thing. Like, I can't believe Icestrong just hasn't removed it in some way. It's not as broken as it used to be, but it's still pretty broken. We'll see if Eurus can pull it off here. His team does need to try and claw their way back into the game. They've lost that net worth lead they did have just a few moments ago. Perhaps a smoke. They're all grouped up. DY is holding a smoke in the backpack, but for now he's just going to hold out. All this time he's giving Flying a lot more space to farm on that PL, and he is currently just holding 2.5k, and it looks like he does want to work into perhaps the Titanic on this PL, and he's going to come up fairly soon, Johnny. He's got almost enough for that Reeve.
Yeah, it's going to be a really tanky PL, hard to deal with, and it's just going to be compounded by that Kunkka.
That's similar down from Ori, just avoiding the X back. Of course, the Emo does have the BKB up, and they are going to go for the smoke with that. JT missing out on the smoke, but he'll just follow his team. On top of that, Ori is very, very close to that Aghanim Scepter now, the Void Spirit. So this is definitely decent time now for IG if they can catch this Void Spirit out before he does get that Axe up. But instead, IG might just try and take over this Radiant side triangle. Well, that looks like the game plan. They do reveal themselves by taking that Sentry Ward out.
Tower has fallen.
Not to mention, Flyfight did just take the T1 top tower. And IG, and rather VG, not interested in fighting at the moment. They'd rather have hit the team fight and keep farming up. So you have that Axe up on Ori. 50 gold off, so just continue trying to trade towers here.
I think it's a decent way to play it. Do smoke up as far, don't they? Leave Ori behind. They want to reveal that Axe on Eurus, and it's like they want to force a fight like this.
I think Ori's baiting here for his team. PW has the blink up to get the lasso, and Emo can get spotted, but they'll smoke up. They had started that Roshan, still Fisher is going to be there. He gets burnt so darn quick. Now the Boden on the PYW. He's going to fly away. Emo pops his EKB, but his team's dying around him. He needs to get in there and hit somebody. The problem is he can't. Nobody is available to take out apart from perhaps Yang, but he juked out the Tauren with the Blink Tagger. Yeah, he does have CP. He's not really going to make it out of here, is he? Oh, come on now. He makes it out in time. I can't believe that works. Nobody really went to scout out the tree line. That's just a bad team fight for IG.
Look at that damage on Eurus for the double damage and Enchantotem when he shifts back. That was like plus 900 on one hit. Plus 900.
Come on, Eurus, give it the Enchantotem swoop back. Let's all marvel in the glory that is ES more.
Come on. Come on.
Just want to go for the Roche.
Oh.
There it is. Yeah, 1.1k. Very nice. Very powerful.
Oh, Emo.
Thank you for this. Emo does get better played off, and now the storm is going to be out from Ollie. Emo basically looks back. This could be dangerous. The Fisher off, but now again, is you can stop. Where is Eurus? He jumps into the backlines, going straight off the sports and send back. No, he wants JT on the Omni. He does get the Guardian Angel off. Eurus not finished the job off. He needs to get out of it. He will just enchant to put him in failure. DY, however, does end up killing JT off on Omni Knight. DY, he'll give his life up for this, but it's going to be well worth it for the sake of a position 3 Omni Knight dying. Eurus even plants Karka on the Rubik as DY is still running away. Flashlight gets to cut him off and get him off. It's a 2 trade in the end, but each gaming are continuing to find the positive trades.
That they are. I mean, I believe it was for buybacks they found there on those 2 kills, so they're just compounding on that previous. When I don't know if you caught how JT died, but it was the static storm drop from DY just to get that last tick off. And the Guardian Angel saw and was like, I don't want to win around here. He dropped the static storm. Didn't show that. And BG, I mean, it's still not the best trade in the world. They're only finding supports. So IG does have breathing room there. You can see that Flatfly is ahead of Eurus in terms of farm. So RPL is still in a really good spot. That Satanic you were talking about, it's done. It's ready to fly out onto RPL, so there's a lot of durability on Fly. You don't have it to stop that regeneration just yet. Nothing like a Scotty up and running, or even a Shivas or a Spirit Vessel up. Nothing like that just yet, but I'm sure at some point you are going to see that up. You do have a lot of defense himself, though. Got the BKB on yours on top of that Lincoln, so controlling the morph is going to be a very hard proposition for IG. Got to be really careful with how they space themselves out and how they choose to come in.
I thought he had over 1.1k. I thought he had 1.1k damage because he had a double damage active. Eurus still has 1.1k damage once she's in Lasso, they caught out Emo on Conker. That's one. Bishop's gonna be there, and Emo cannot sustain himself. And that means it's Roshan time.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a big one. No buyback available for Emo as well. They are playing cautiously though. They don't know where the rest of IG's at. They don't want to commit. There's still a lot of AoE IG can bring, especially with Ollie. So they're just gonna try to take their time and suss it out first.
They go in. Eurus just jumps straight in, but he gets fished up there by Karka. Still great hanging through it now. Karka's getting very low, but the Golden Angel up. The Echo is there with the ES, and then Eurus is just man-fighting this steal. Fly. He can't win this one out by himself. He needs some help, but he's not getting it anytime soon. He will topple away, but he does end up going down. Don't worry. We'll just jump straight in onto JT. And poor Omni Knight can't make his way out of there. Zolly is going to try and TP out like Yang did, but it doesn't work quite the same way. Or he does actually check the tree lines. It's going to be a full team wipe. And now I would dare say they can definitely take the Rocha.
Oh, 100%. Like, you're going to have Emo up in a bit, but that's just going to be him by himself. Not enough to stop this, and of course with yours, it does not take a very long time with all the damage you can pump out. So you're going to have to contend with 2 lives on, more than likely, Eurus here. It's just going to be a lot harder for IG, and they're just not finding those openings. Despite having that early lead, having, you know, Fly in that position where he's really hard to kill. When he's isolated like that, it doesn't matter. He's just going to die anywhere.
Oh man, there's a double damage in bot lane as well. Or he's going to get it, but Eurus wants it. Alright, so now, once he pops double damage, John, we'll see what his true damage is like. In theory, he should be hitting the over 2k with his hand totem.
Oh god.
Once he pops that DD, right now he's got about 1.3k per auto attack per enchant totem. But with the CD rune, I'm not so sure what it's going to look like.
Oh, that's disgusting.
If he hits for like 3k, he almost just one hits Fly. That's... it just doesn't make sense how this is allowed in the game. How's it still a thing? It's been over a year now.
Yeah, it's almost a full year. We're still seeing this. Although, nah, you can't catch Ori out just with PL, unfortunately. They are trying to circle around. They see Eurus. I don't know about that one, though.
Emo, danger. It's not envisioned yet. Let's see Yang does live there with Kaka into the torrent boat. They just want to get this Earthshaker dead, and they do. It's a great pickup, and that's all it takes to force VG Gaming back. That Echo Slam is a real game changer. Not really in too big of a rush if you're VG Gaming. You've still got heaps of time on the Aegis. They're just gonna have to wait out Yang's respawn before they go any further. But that may give Eurus time to at least get close to that Daedalus he's trying to go for now, Morphling. Unless he TPs into the enemy team, does cancel that TP off and keep farming safely up the top lane.
Yeah, I can't wait for this Daedalus to be out. Enchant, double damage, Daedalus on crit. That's a delete button right there.
It really is. I can only imagine how much. Like, we've got to hope that a DD comes around later on. Because he's not going to have the Daedalus up by the time the DD does pop from the bottle. And there it is, by the way. He doesn't even have the ES morph right now, so we don't get to see it, John. Very, very sad news for us.
Yeah. Quite a shame. Still, IG. They choose to smoke up. They smoke under a Radiant Observer ward, though. So, whether or not they catch someone up, it doesn't look like it.
Ori's already out of the bot lane. They could try for Yang in the mid lane. They are actually heading that way. Yang, the rest of his team smoke across the map, and he does get lifted up into the torrent and boat again. The beam boat. He might get bursted, but he does get the Yules up in time, and now with the exit streak trying to make a run for it, he does echo as Eurus will jump in. He did get the morph on the S before he did it. Nice and Fly is going to go down on the PL, and now the glimpse back on the Emo, but he will blink out of there. Now GT in control, but yes, Spider Legs, are they going to be enough? Not quite. Emo is hitting way too hard, but Ollie, he does get the stomp off. Now Emo with the torrent will try and turn this one around. Fly. He did buy it back. Now mind you, they are fighting into the Aegis of Eurus. But with that buyback, it may be enough to force him back. In fact, they do get P1W, but he'll blink out of there. And Fly's still trying to chase down Eurus, but Ori will jump back in with the silencers out. Run out of charges. Does have Evil Scepter, but hasn't committed yet. He might die because of this. He does eventually get it off. Now, Astral Theft, no, he's not going to get it off in time. So, IG, they do make the buyback somewhat worthwhile from Fly. Looks like they're going to try and take the advantage now and make the push down the mid lane.
Middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, this is a bit of an opening if they can find this objective. It's just that it's also a dangerous spot. Fly having expended buyback.
Eurus rather just jumping in by himself. There's the buyback count from Ori now. JT, he's about to die here. He does heavily face, but Eurus does kill him off, and now Ollie getting very low on the Titan. He's also gone. Now they'll go straight into Kaka, and everyone is just dying to this point. Another fish around. They crisscross them. They trap Emo in, and it's only Fly left. And if he dies, it's going to be a time back. He'll go for the TP play, but they still had the last and the glimpse for that matter. Fly, he doesn't know where to run. Unfortunately, he does have nowhere to run. Eurus does get an ultra kill, and there's the GG call. Emo has had enough.
I mean,
it's a rough game for IG.
Oh, I'd say it's a rough series, Mike. I mean, we said VG was favored. They make it look very easy up against IG. Unfortunately for IG, that does mean they're going to have to play another series at the end of the day. But VG, we can see why they are top seed.